Welcome to the workshop. I have started recording, and this is in regards to developing a commons project, an urban commons project in Durres. And we have stakeholders, local stakeholders, as well as experts from the Eutropian side, and we will be discussing what we can do. This first workshop is serving more as an introduction round and also as a kind of foyer, a way into getting into the issues surrounding Durres and what kind of urban commons they have and what they're thinking of developing, so our experts can provide feedback. The first workshop, as said, will be divided into two distinct units or two parts. The first one will be with stakeholders giving information, so I guess we could start with that. Basically, some things to keep in mind while you're providing information. I guess it would help our experts tremendously if you could focus on what the issues surrounding Durres is, what it is that you want to focus on and get from this workshop. Perhaps it's a specific case, or perhaps it's a topic or general theme that you would like our experts to focus on. Because the issue of urban commons is a diverse one. There's many different kinds of urban commons, and also regarding the urban commons, there's also many different issues. Like there's the infrastructure issue, there's the activation issue, there's the legal issue, etc. So what is it exactly that you would like to pinpoint? So the general framework and the type of commons, and also what your expectations are from installing the commons in your city. Maybe there's a history of commons, or maybe this is a unique initiative which you're starting for the first time. I don't know. If you could provide us with some information in that regard, what the framework is, what the models are, etc. That would be very beneficial. Bahadur, do you think there's any other issues that you would like to focus on? Perhaps you might want to chime in here quickly.
I think it's very important that we listen to the local stakeholders and try to understand the overall picture. And as you said, understand where the status quo is and where we can support you in the next workshops.
Okay, so Mira, I guess then I'll pass it over to you, and you can direct us in the right way of who we should be listening to and what they
Yes,
have to say.
okay. I want to introduce also another person that join us, the representative from Shiak municipality. So in this meeting, there are not only representatives from Durres, but also two other small municipalities, Kavaya and Shiak. That Shiak is part of our region, Kavaya is not, but we have been always connected to Kavaya, and we call it as our region. Also, just join us, the representative from Durres municipality that present the directory of environment. So based on what you presented and your videos that you shared with us, I shared them with our stakeholders, and we found them really interesting. And as I told you, we had some feedbacks from them. And also there are some other new ideas that comes out during our face-to-face with each other when we had the possibilities to meet each other. For example, the idea of the market was one of the ideas that was presented also as one common thing that can be realized. Also was the idea of the farm with in Sweden, as I remember. The farm
In Sweden, we had a factory, a paint factory that was turned into a cultural and arts center that focused on urban issues and on a lot of dialogue, especially between different various stakeholders and groups.
Mostly used, we saw it as a part of recycling and protecting the environment, one of the issues. But also very important one, I don't know, because we haven't seen in your videos, maybe you don't have this kind of experience. We have some archaeological sites and some historical sites that we want to use them and to reorganize them in a different way. For example, in some of your videos were shown that it's not only public property, but there were some even some business part of some private part, private sector that was collected, and it was a mix between the stakeholders. And this was one of the aspects that we found interesting, and we think that we can elaborate, and we need more experience, let's say, and more support from your part. There are a lot of buildings here, old one, that has been from communism period, and now they are apart. Some of them are not in the middle or in the center of the city, but they are even in some suburban areas, but close to Durrës. And also we have some, let's say, initiatives. For example, the youth center where we are here is a museum of heroes. And a part of this is still the museum. A part is the library, the children's library. One part that we have now, we change it, we adapt it in a youth center. And it's another part also of the veterans, but it's not so functional as activities that they have and they present. So these are quite some of the buildings and some of the ideas, but we had an interesting example from Cavaia municipality, for example, that they want, based on one of the other videos that you had, a big center, multifunctional center that you organize exposition, and it was a part of also private one. They were thinking to make that also. They have a building, 2 flats, an old one, and they want to reconstruct it. But they found really interesting one of the models that you shared with them. So
is it the Fabrik Sweden model, or are we
yes,
talking? Yeah.
Yes.
And I believe the farmhouse that you're talking about is the Cascina Rocca Franca. That's the one in Turin in Italy.
Yes.
Yes.
This
Okay.
because since the names were somehow in German, with some of them we found difficulties, but we know, let's say, the idea. We are familiar with the idea because we have seen them several times. So these are more or less what we have seen and what we want to have more experience. Or as Linda mentioned, we are waiting for some really the things that we can see, you know. These examples, as we have seen from the videos, the real activities that you have done, the real results that you have done from previous experience, for me are amazing, in fact, to do them in Durrës. And we are all stakeholders here, very active, even in different parts. That's why it's a large number, but a large view of Durrës, because we are all keeping on going with all this problematic situation that Durrës and Albania is facing, but mostly Durrës after the earthquake and everything here. So we really want to see the the examples and the works done here in Durrës based on what also we can offer to you.
So it's my understanding that it's basically what you're saying is it's more like a carte blanche. There are many different opportunities and options available, and that you would like to utilize as many options or examples as possible and just try to ignite some sort of urban commons. Also, with kind of like a privatized sphere where we can combine, let's say, social initiatives with, like for instance, in the case in Lisbon, you had a hostel that operates as a social initiative that also has a cafe that kind of has a social aspect to it because people can freely go in there and they can just sit without purchasing. So it also serves as a community center kind of.
Yes.
So this kind of thing. Bahanur, what do you think? What are your impressions so far?
I think if I understood you right, Mira, you would like to have a kind of a roadmap, a process description developed with you. Maybe also a vision how it could be like the mix of organizations like in the Lager Residencias case. You have a cafe which kind of finances the cafe and hostel that finances the whole structure. You have an artist in residency where you have the foreign input. You have a bookshop. You have this outdoor space which is consume free as well. And you have also the aspect, even though it was a bordel, you have the aspect that people who were there before, who worked there before, can find in this new structure also a role, a place, a work. So I understand that on the one hand, you would like to develop a kind of a use mix. And on the second hand, maybe related to Cascina Rocca Franca, elaborate a kind of strategy how those commons could work as a network, not only in Durrës, but also maybe in the neighboring municipalities. Maybe one time it's an archaeological site, maybe one time it's a building, maybe one time it's just a part of the municipality building, like the ground floor, which is open to the public. It could be also a commons. Then probably also kind of defined what are the processes to get started and to run. Does that somehow sum up what you had in mind?
Yes, in fact, we really need that map that is, let's say, one of the objectives of the project to realize this map of opportunities that are in Durrës. And since we have some other municipalities here, also their map or their possibilities as much as possible, but also with one concrete example. And Rocafe is one example that, in fact, fits most to what we were discussing to each other and what we agreed to each other. Since we have some possibilities to know where are the places and also where we can realize this, but also the network of these other possibilities will be one of the strength point of the strategy. But after the strategy, I think that it will be really necessary to give the way to one of these examples to go further, and with together with Durrës municipality, we can decide then which of these possibilities we can go further, and we can realize a real project or real opportunity to see the results after this project.
Yeah, just I guess it might even make things easier if we could have 2, 3 concrete locations or examples with information about their constellations, so that our experts can come up with a more precise, let's say, listing of what's possible. Do you think something like that would be possible? Like, are there specific locations or projects or not projects but locations?
Yes, we have
Yes.
some. For example, the one that we are is, let's say, in the half of the road, because there are some activities based on this. Also, is another one that is thinking, for example, in Kavaya, is thinking to be a real project about a youth center. Also, I think the part of it's another building that is the Centra Culturale Famiglia, the cultural center of children, where it's in a private building, but the municipality is thinking to move it. And to make in the same place or somewhere with the library, the public library, since we don't have a public library, it's still in one place, in private place also. And the Durrës municipality is thinking to realize this library in another building. So these are examples that we can work on, that even the municipality is more interested in to realize the library and the cultural center of youths.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry, I want to
Yeah.
represent also another person from Durrës municipality that is in the sector of projects, Floreta Cartusha, that just joined us, and I can see here.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Floretta.
I'm dealing with EU projects in Durrës municipality. I have been discussing with Mira. We think that it's a very important project for our municipality. And by exchanging experiences and best practices, it will be an opportunity for us, for all of us, in order to better serve to the citizens and to offer more services with quality and in time. Thank you.
Welcome. Mira, I think we need an introduction to the place and to the places you mentioned. Otherwise, it will be too theoretical and too abstract what we can provide you next week. Do you have pictures? Do you have a website or anything which you can share today or by email? Because otherwise, as said, it will be too abstract, our work.
In fact, we were discussing with Floretta just 2 days before the last version of the one that we presented, and we are not really prepared with pictures and with other materials for these buildings, but we can. With email, we can email you some views, or if they have, but as I know, both of them don't have any website where you can see some feedbacks. For example, also Amy can explain somehow more about the cultural center of youths, of children's, where she knows better the conditions that they have there, and what's happened during this period. Or you are not any more familiar, Annie, with Chugafa?
Hello. I'd like to say that in Durrës we have a national center for the culture that it is depending under the municipality for the administration and financial aspects. And due to the workings there, the children and the training courses have had very good positive results that Albania and Durrës from Republic of Albania is now a well-known region for the whole Western Balkan countries and wider in the Southeast Europe. For example, the center has done excellent relations with other EU member states like Italy, Bulgaria, Slovenia, Croatia, Greece of the region, and also countries from the Balkans like the Turkey, and countries from the region of the Western Balkan countries like the Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, North Macedonia, and Kosovo. And in the Western Balkan countries, Albanians have been resulting in very good performance in the science, in the research, in the Olympiads and other testings in the regional character, but also in the art and also in the sport. This has done that all the region has been interconnected, interactive. It has been friendly. There have been enveloping and emphasizing the cultural relations, the historic views, our vision, which is in a common vision with the EU of the Western Balkan countries and our regional neighbors, which are the EU member countries, and we have felt a strong support from them. So this is more or less the information that I'd like to say to the others, that we are very thankful and very delightful for all the support that we have had in our regional visits from the children of Albania to other members of the EU and also in the Western Balkan countries. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you? It seems to me that it might make sense to have like a 2-page write-up of these locations that we want to focus on, zoom in on. And the 2-page write-up can include the various stakeholders, what purposes the location can be developed for or taken further, and what sort of a commons we're envisioning there. And based on that, I guess our experts can come up with a strategy. And based on that, also, we'll have to develop the game, which will help us kind of understand or see what the possibilities are that we could utilize here. I believe Dani is here. Dani, are you here? Would you like to introduce yourself? And if you have any questions, you've been listening in, you might as well.
Yes, so hello everybody. I think we met last time with some of you. So hi, sorry for the delay. I missed the first minutes or so. So the others could cut me up with in writing. Yeah, I'm from the Eutropian team. I'm an urban planner, and we've been working on commons and organizational and financial models of community-based organizations for now some time. So we would be very happy to work together in this. One of the things that, just to add on to what Yilmaz was saying, also because unfortunately, we cannot come in person because of the COVID, but we would love to come and visit you. We will come, even after the project though, we will come. Yeah, if you can share some information for us to understand really even the basics, because that would really help us to prepare then the activities for the next week. And I think probably what we will try to do is also to try and create a mechanism for which we develop together the model. Just as Yilmaz was saying, it's the spaces, but also if you could help us identify some of the key stakeholders, some of the key people aside of you that are present. Maybe it's the municipality, maybe it's a bank, maybe it's the ministry, maybe it's a foundation. I don't know, because that probably would help us to identify how we could develop the management models. Because as far as I understand, this is something that is a strong focus in the whole work for you.
In fact, we have.
Oh, okay. Here we go. It's a bit complicated with all the buttons you have to press. Thank you, Dani. I just want to say that before you came on, we were talking about the films. They viewed the films in Durrës, and they were really quite inspired by the case studies that we had with the Open Heritage Project. And I think the films are a great resource to show in these kind of situations, to see what opportunities and options are available. The Cascina Roca Franca was one that they were definitely interested in, that they found a similarity with, as well as the Fabric in Sweden in terms of an exhibition hall and an exhibition space. They're very different models, however, as well as the Lisbon model. They're very different models, and the model is based upon the stakeholders, the building's heritage and history, and the reuse of that space, and also the community. You know, the Cascina Roca Franca serves more as a senior center with some cultural events happening. The Fabric in Sweden is more of a really kind of a place where urban planners and artists meet, and you have this kind of artistic culture going on there. So it would be great to get some detailed information in regards to, what the building is, what the heritage situation is, what it can be utilized as, what the stakeholders are, what the opportunities in Durrës is. Because if we were there, we'd easily be able to ask these questions and, be involved. But unfortunately, you're going to have to feed us that information. And then based on, I believe, Dani and Bahanur can come up with various examples and case studies, which we can further elaborate on in the next meeting. That's all. Would anyone like to step in?
Mira, you were also asking about archaeological sites. In the Open Heritage project, we have 2 archaeological sites. One is in Rome, one is outside of Budapest. We will send you further information, but I can quickly share screen, so you know also where to find those things. The Open Heritage site is called Open Heritage EU, and you have heritage labs here. You have different kind of labs which we develop in since 2 years. It's a project of 4 years. The aim is to find new uses, to empower the citizens, to find a sustainable management, but also financial model. Those sites are, especially for instance in Budapest, they are outside of the city, and it's mostly not for tourism purpose. The Highland, High Street, Sunderland is mostly housing. So there are really different kind of heritage labs. And to give you also a little bit feeling, it takes 4 years, more or less, to have a site from zero, from scratch, to be running. So this first site is about Pomas in Budapest. Then there is the one in Rome, and it's also archaeological site, and not so central, but still in Rome, not so far away from Rome. Those sites are, I think, interesting because here we need really creative input and empowerment of the citizens, so they can utilize, they can be the community around this heritage, who takes care, who utilizes them, and who keeps those places alive, so they don't, so they are maintained and also somehow stay in the memory of the city. But I think if we start with a project like this, where you even don't have the physical space, where the use could already start with temporary use or temporary activities and so on, I think for this project, we would lose a lot of time. And on the other hand, we could somehow draw what the process could look like, but from scratch to be really utilized. But I think we will have only 2 workshops. I would really suggest that we concentrate on the 3 examples or possibilities you you were mentioning, like the youth center, the public library, and I think your own organization's place, which could be the cultural center, if I understood right. And yeah, we would need the description, the status quo. Where are you? What do you need? What should we focus on in the process? And for the game, I would like to pass on to Dani and also my other colleagues so they can ask specific questions what they need for the development of the game.
Yeah, I think as Bahanur was saying, for the development of the game, we would need a plan, a map of the area. Some of the key stakeholders, I would say, at least it would be good if we could identify at least 8 diverse stakeholders, which can be departments of the municipality, it can be people from the ministry, it can be local NGOs, it can be companies in the area that you think are relevant, any stakeholder that you think is important, the university maybe, or research organizations, schools, whatever you think is relevant for this. And the storyline. If you have this, then we can develop the game activity on the basis of that, and probably we will come back to you with some specific questions. But I would assume that in order to be able to have the game next week, Yilmaz, Bahanur, David, tell me, what do you think? I think probably it would be good if we could get it mid next week. Probably, if it's like Wednesday next week or Thursday at the very latest, so we have at least one day or so to adjust the activities.
So, yeah.
Or
well, the meeting we've moved to the Monday after that, so it'll give us 2-3 days if we can get it towards mid next week. I think the third workshop will be, next workshop is on Wednesday, and then the third workshop is the Monday following. Mira, it would also make sense. Jorge is also asking, because he'll be part of the development team. This is how can we make this a bottom-up kind of initiative? What are the citizens' initiatives involved? What's the policy of the municipality towards citizens that are involved in these kind of initiatives? And what other stakeholders do we have? Perhaps you could lay the groundwork for us a bit more in terms of the participation model that you're envisioning, so we can also include that in the game.
In fact, Durrës municipality has been always open and in the meaning that weigh the initiatives of different stakeholders that want to develop something within the municipality or for the wellness of the community. But there most of the times has been the problem of budget since the limitation of the budget. But municipality has also used another possibility to be partner and to be a supporter to find financial possibilities for different initiatives. So when the idea is well organized and we have also a project, then the municipality has been present. For example, there are some other buildings that now I was looking through the questions that I gave you, the Center of Elders, where municipality was presented and worked with World Bank to have one. They used the spaces, one of the buildings that municipality owned, to build this elderly center that in other cities doesn't exist, a public one as here in Durrës. Also another place where they are organizing professional trainings, also provided by a municipality. So about the support and the possibilities to be a part of the projects and the initiatives, we can find really the support of municipality in this ideas that we want to develop. But as Dani said, and Bahanur also, we have to focus on just in 2 or 3 of them, which one we will decide, and then we will go on with the one that we can follow.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. In the very least, as Donnie suggested, if we could have 2, 3 concrete examples. The next workshop is on Wednesday, and I believe until then, Donnie and Bahana would like to present at that workshop some case studies and some examples. So Bahanu and Donnie, for you to be able to do that, is there anything else that you would like to touch upon right now?
I think we will go over the mentioned cases we have in open heritage and try to extract a comprehensive output, probably as a PowerPoint presentation, which should inform you how those examples work based on today's discussion. I think it's good that you already choose which examples are interesting for you. I think from my side, since we know which examples are interesting, to make a short presentation about those cases, so they are hopefully comprehensive and can also explain what the most important points are to be kind of successful in this process. I think it's clear from my side. I don't know if it's clear for Dani too.
Sorry, the audio. Yeah, no, this sounds good. I think you also identified which case studies you're the most interested in. So I think maybe we can expand a little bit the case studies and also explain a bit more of background information and context, so that you also can see better connections with you. And yeah, and probably this could also be an opportunity for which you already start giving us some of the information back on what we were discussing on the context where you want to intervene. So we can also discuss of the points of connections and differences, and this will also help us then for the following activity, I would assume. So that sounds good. Yep.
I think it's very important that stakeholders who were here today are present next time too, because when we present the examples, you would have the possibility to reflect on your case, on your situation, and ask directly. So it would give us also a little bit the opportunity to understand where your status quo is. So invitation for next Wednesday.
Yes, in fact, when Ilmaz sent me the timeline and the schedule, I forwarded to the stakeholders that are here present, and that's why I postponed the one of 18th, because most of them were not. Were not possible to attend the 18th, and we postponed it on 21st of December. But all of them have seen the videos, and that's why we were quite in the same idea. But now that we are more stricted on in 2 or in 3 examples, we will focus, we will work on them. We will send you some other information that we can gather about them, and as you said, will be more concrete next time, and we can exchange more concrete information about them, what you think and what we think. Because the ideas that we were selecting were based even in other aspects, the common aspects here in Albania, in Durrës, but with other relative municipalities or possibilities of replications. That's why we wanted something that can be easy replicate somewhere else, depending on the possibilities that Albania has. I don't know if I am clear.
Yes,
You
I believe
Bahanur,
so.
have seen Albania, so you know that there are some aspects that are different from the other part of EU in the meaning of organizing the things and organizing of activities and organizing the buildings. Also, is the difficulty of the economic situation and the possibility of projects that now we are not still a EU member, and it's really difficult to have a good idea then to put it in place and realize the real activity that we think to do.
I think the common idea of the project is we have been trying to apply together for funds, for further funds. So we see this project as a seed starter that you get organized, maybe also get started with financing with World Bank and so on. That would be perfect. But the idea is to get you in a point that you have already the structure, and if we have any further possibilities of exchange or working together, that it's then the process is already started and we can work together. So that's maybe also important for the participants today to understand that even though the project is very condensed and we have little time frame, the idea is to develop something which is useful for you so you can get started, and hopefully together or by yourself with all the EU fund experts you have in your team, that you can go on with developing and implementing those ideas. Thank you. I think it was a good discussion and very good for us to understand what examples are you interested in, and I think we can meet in a few days and discuss further.
So did I understand this correctly? Are we agreeing that you, Bahanur and Dani, need a bit more information in regards to the site so that for next Wednesday you can create a more concrete list of examples and case studies? Is that what we've agreed upon?
No.
Okay.
We said on the basis of the examples they mentioned today, we should prepare a presentation so to make it more comprehensive, the examples we had in the info box. And the partners can ask questions, and so they can understand and make it more useful for them. And at the same time, they develop the cases, and we will see in the game how we can work on them.
Okay. Is there anything then anybody would like to add or request or state? All right. Oh, then I guess it seems like that's a wrap, as we say in filmmaking. Yeah, so looking forward to the next meeting then. I'd like to thank everybody who's on board. Hopefully we can have an enriched discussion next time as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing the case studies and to discussing this issue further. It's quite exciting, actually. I guess that's it. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, everybody, for being present, and have a nice weekend.
Thank you all. Have a lovely weekend.
A nice weekend, everyone.
Enjoy. Bye-bye.